Hello my loves and welcome back. And if you're new here, then thank you for joining me and giving me a try. So today I want to talk about something a little bit different, and I want to talk about our time. Because did you ever find yourself, you just go online just for 5 minutes just to check something, and then a couple of hours later you find yourself that you're still online, you're still on your laptop, and hours have gone by. Definitely can relate to that. Or do you ever feel like either you or your significant other, your kids, your friends are just always on their phones? Well, you're not alone, because research is showing us that more and more we're spending more and more time online. We're spending more and more time plugged in and on screens and disconnected from our real lives. And it's having an effect on both our mental and our physical health. So what I wanted to share today was the fact that there is this weekend the National Day of Unplugging, and I'm going to invite you all to join in putting the screens down, putting the phones away, and getting back to real life, offline, off screens. Yes, it does exist. So why unplug? Well, I think we can all agree that technology is fantastic. It's done a lot of great things, especially over the last couple of years when we've all been at home. We've been more and more reliant on technology, but with that convenience comes a cost. And that cost is, firstly, it's your time. As I said before, we can find ourselves just checking something online or just checking social media on our phone, and the next thing we know, an hour's flown by, or more, let's face it. Or let's face it, you can find yourself on YouTube. The next thing you know, the algorithm just shows you something that you just have to click, and then you find yourself down a rabbit hole. Lately, my rabbit hole is home renovations. So there are studies now that are showing that even children are spending 8+ hours a day glued to screens or on technology of some shape and fashion, be it TV, phones, computer games, you name it. iPads, we're on screens constantly. And the average adult even is spending upwards of 5 hours on a screen. And that's not including work time. And I so relate to this because sometimes now that I work at home, I just feel like I spend most of my day editing videos, or I'm researching or doing online learning. Everything seems to be online now. And when you're saying yes to something, you're also saying no to something else. So all of those things that you've been putting off or you can't find time for, well, you found time to watch YouTube for 6 hours. So it's also impacting our relationships, and recent studies are showing that 6 out of 10 parents are kind of concerned about their relationship with their children. I mean, just look around at a restaurant and everybody is on their phone. Now, personally, I'm very, very thankful that we have the technology that we have Skype, that we have Zoom, the FaceTime, because it helps me stay connected to my family back in England. But it also comes at a cost, that we find ourselves being much more online than we really should be. There is definitely something to be said for choosing to unplug, to put the phones down and reconnecting with people in real life. The other thing that technology or the screen time is doing is it can impact our sleep. Now, I know for me personally that if I'm playing my computer games late at night, I really struggle to get to sleep. And as I am prone to insomnia anyway, that is not a good thing. So I make sure that after 9 o'clock, I try and shut all the screens down and just be offline and off screens. I try. I'm not always successful. So it can also have a physical impact on our bodies. We can get eye strain from kind of looking at the screens at a weird angle, or just the glare on the screen. We also have something that we call in my yoga teacher training as tech neck, where you're hunched over looking at a tablet or a phone, and you end up with this kind of crooked, heavy head position. Also not great. So if you're experiencing like tension headaches, neck pain, head pain, shoulder pain, some of those could be related to this constant looking down at our phones. So even if you're not convinced that you need to unplug, then maybe look at your phone and see how often you are checking your phone. Because there is, in the settings, there's a little notification in there that tells you how long you're spending on your phone and what apps you're spending that time on. You might be surprised. Now, if you are interested in joining me in the National Day of Unplugging, it is meant to be a full 24 hours, but you make it work for you. And I'm going to show you these 5 tips that you might want to consider before you have your day of unplugging. The first one is think about your duration. Again, it's supposed to be 24 hours. Maybe that's not going to work for you for whatever reason. Maybe you just do the morning, the afternoon, the evening. Maybe it's just an hour or 2. Or maybe you just commit that after 9 o'clock every day from here on out, you don't have any screens. The second tip is to put your phones away somewhere safe, where you resist the temptation to look at them. So whether that is you just all agree to turn them face down somewhere on the table, or whether you have a little bag, a box, or something to put it in for safekeeping, so that you don't be tempted to look at your phone. Just creating a space for it to rest while you're not using it. So the third tip is that maybe unplug things, whether that's your computer system, your gaming system, your TV. Just unplug it, because that creates a barrier between you and the habit that you have of just switching the thing on. And the fourth tip is to hide your remote control. Now, don't really hide it somewhere where you're not going to find it again, but just put it away somewhere safe, where maybe it's on the other side of the room, so you don't just have to kind of reach and click it, that you actually have to move and switch something on. Give yourself, again, that barrier towards the technology being on. And my fifth tip is to make a plan. You'd be surprised at how much you are using technology during the day. So make a plan. Figure out what you're going to do in replacement of all of the technology that you do use. All right, so you have decided to join in on this National Day of Unplugging. What do you do instead of browsing the internet? Yes, life existed before the internet. So what I thought I'd do was I just give you 10 quick ideas of things that you could do rather than go online. And tip number 1 is to get outside, get into nature, go explore, go for a hike, visit a park. Just get your butt outdoors, get some fresh air. Tip number 2 is to go out and socialize. Phone a friend, grab a lunch, have a game night, whatever it is that you feel that would be your social activity. Go out, visit a friend, visit family, and get some social interaction. Third one is to read a book. Now, the caveat for me is, yes, I will allow Kindles. For me, I use my Kindle as for most of my reading, so you do you. Tip number 4 is Wi-Fi wellness. Now, for the past 2 years, we've had to rely on videos and the online thing for a lot of our wellness. You can still do that. Maybe you just use the audio rather than looking at the screen. Number 5 is music and dance. Whether you like to play, whether you like to just listen, or whether you like to dance, then get your groove on. Number 6 is to get creative. All of that craft time that you wish you had, you might find that you've been spending it online. So whether you're an avid knitter, sewer, woodworker, metalworker, whatever it is that your passion project is, then get back to it. Number 7 would be to learn a new skill. So quite often we think that we don't have time to learn a new skill. Well, again, you might be finding that those 3 hours that you spend browsing Instagram could be better spent elsewhere. For me, I've been learning hand lettering, so find a new skill, find something that you enjoy doing. Number 8 would be self-care. So whether that for you is a spa day, maybe it's a massage, maybe it's just having a nice day of peace and quiet, maybe it's a bubble bath with a glass of wine. Spoil yourself. Number 9. Spring clean, declutter, clean up. Do all of the things that you don't really usually get around to. Go clean your baseboards, garden. Do all those jobs around the house that you didn't get time to do because you're online, wasting time. And number 10, if you're out and about, put your phone away. Don't use the maps and get lost, explore. Remember the days when if you didn't know where you were going, you had to get one of those big maps out on the big books? Go explore. All right, my loves, I hope that you join me in a day of unplugging, or even if you're not doing a day, maybe an hour, an afternoon, an evening, or even if you just look at how much time you're spending online and try and spend a little more time offline. I hope you enjoyed this and it gave you some ideas and inspiration. If it did, then give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. And remember, my loves, that karma is only a bitch if you are. So be nice, be kind, and be the change that you want to see in the world. So computer vision syndrome. So if you are what's the word I'm looking for, Di? Come on, think. You know, what am I trying to say there? Go clean your